at this thing.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. So we are up to checking accounts. And just like yesterday, I'm going to read through this with you and show you how you should fill in some parts. So the decision to open a checking account versus a savings account is a personal preference. Checking accounts offer versatility and are easy bill payment options. While savings accounts are great if you have little or no payments to make, many people have both types of accounts. Nowadays, it depends. Again, it's personal preference. Years ago, the interest rates used to be a lot better on savings accounts than they are now. So some people don't even bother to have a savings account, but it is your preference. So regardless of whether you choose a commercial bank or a credit union, the checking account allows you to use the checks to pay creditors or a debit card, because we all know nowadays so much is done online. So it tells us a debit card is simply a card that when swiped deducts the money directly from your checking account. So if you open that checking account at a commercial bank, many will waive the checking fee if you use direct deposit. Direct deposit is when your employer directly puts your paycheck into that checking account, eliminating the need for you to deposit it or cash it yourself. Typically, a bank or a credit union will give you free checking regardless if you have direct deposit or not. But again, those are all questions that you should ask or research before you even decide where you want to go. So when opening that checking account, it's important to ask the questions you have while you're there. Like, is there overdraft protection? What does that mean? That means if I go into the negatives, are you going to cover my check or purchase? Do you charge for reordering checks? Be sure that there are to check that there are any fees associated with ATM usage and withdrawals. Like, do you charge if I use an ATM that's not your bank, etc. So make sure that you do ask those questions and maybe research the bank you have now and see where you're losing fees that you may not have to. Like some banks charge a maintenance fee if you don't keep a certain amount of money in there. So those are all good things to find out about. Otherwise, you're just wasting the hard-earned money that you are earning. And we don't want to just give it away to the banks. So, balancing a checkbook. This is big. Once you have your checking account, it's a good idea to keep that running record in your register. That's that little book with the lines that they give you when you get checks. So you can also use software programs that are online. There's Excel programs, Microsoft Money, whatever, rather than relying just on online statements. But filling out a check is something that you need to know how to do so that merchants and companies can cash it correctly. Because if you fill it out incorrectly, there are certain things that will happen. And keeping that balanced checkbook is important so that you are aware of all the charges, if there's any bank errors or identity theft, which we know nowadays is also a huge problem. So here is a check below. It says, let's say you are paying your electric bill for the month. The amount is $121.78, and it's being paid to Centerpoint Energy, and it gives us our account number. So here's a blank check. Your information should always be here. Here you're going to put the date. So today is April 1st, and it is 2020. You always put the date, and you should pay to the order of whoever specifically, because if you write cash, anyone can cash it. If you write specifically who it's going to, only that person may cash it. How much was this for? $121.78. And this is the important line right here, because this is really what determines what the bank takes out. Yes, this number is here, but they go off of the actual writing. So $121, there's the dollars, and 78 out of 100. Why? Because that is 78 cents, right? We learned about moving the decimal point, right? 2 places gives me the 2 zeros. In the for or the memo, whatever is on your checks, you're going to put either your account or what it was for. If it's not an actual bill, like if when I pay someone for, you know, whatever, like if I pay my my lawn service person, I write in here loan because I write out to cash, or sometimes I write his name, depending on whatever's easier for him. And then I write lawn service or whatever. So my account number is what's going to go here. This way they apply it to the proper account. And then you sign your check. Yes, sign, signature. I know, we have to practice that. So here is a properly filled out check. Some other things, this is actually your bank account number. And this over here is the bank's routing number. Each bank has their own routing number. And up here is your check number. So those are all important parts of our check. You notice, like I said, that there's numbers on the bottom. I just told you what those are. And that's exactly where they know to go to cash these things. So here is a register. So anytime you make a purchase or a deposit or anything else, you want to write it down in your register. About once a week, you should do this and compare it to your bank statements. If you want to do it at the end of the month, when the bank statement comes, that's your choice. But I find if you write things in there as you go, you don't forget about anything. So if there's any charges that you didn't make, you should be calling your bank. Identity theft is a huge problem. So here we go. So at the top should always be your opening balance or whatever is in your checking account or savings account, whatever you're doing. So this is your beginning balance, so to speak. So we call that our beginning balance. And now you're going to go through these. So obviously a payment is something that comes out, and a deposit is something that comes in. So you're subtracting out your payments and you're adding in your deposits. You should put the dates that you do these things. That does make it a lot more helpful. Here they don't give us any dates, but there are some check numbers. So you want to make sure that you are putting those as well. What else? I don't know. We'll go along as the code and the fee, no one does that anymore. That's more for the bank. So if you went through your statements, there are some codes and sometimes things like that. So here we go. We went to Starbucks, got a cup of coffee, $4.08. So you are going to subtract that from your $412. So that leaves me with $408.57. Then I got gas, cost me $62.56. So that also comes out. Then you were hungry and you went to Chick-fil-A for $9.18. So again, these are all debits or payments. So you are subtracting them out. And now you wrote a check. You wrote a check for your tuition for school for $302. So that also comes out, leaving you with $34.68. You went to Target, you needed some stuff, maybe for school, $4.09. What happened? Uh-oh. I charged more than I had in my account. So now your account goes into the negative, and most banks have what they call an insufficient fund fees. So when you go into that negative, they're going to charge you money for using more money than you had in your account. So this bank charged $35, which now puts you at negative $40.41. Okay, they don't care that you're more negative. They'll keep charging you for every single purchase you make past that. in the insufficient fund fees. So finally, you got paid and your check goes in. So now we add that in and it puts us at $280.10. So we're finally back in the green, which is good. Then you went food shopping to help out wherever you are living. Gives us $154.61. Then we took out $40 just so we had some cash. And then our car insurance, we had to write the check for that and pay that. So here's another deduction. And then you have your ending balance, which is whatever is here. So this should match up statement-wise. So this is your ending balance. And it's pretty easy to fill out. Like I said, you want to keep track of these things. You want to make sure that you stay in the green and you're not charged any insufficient fund fees, because that's a waste now of $35, which you could have done a lot with. So be careful of those things. Which items were paid for by check? You paid your tuition and your car insurance. Was there an insufficient fund fees? Or why was there, sorry? Because your account went negative. Or you could say it went below funds available. Something like that. And that's where we're at. So the next 2 pages in your packet, if you flip now, it says independent practice. You've got those 2 pages there to complete. It's 10 questions. And have a lovely day.